Hi, I'm Amy with Beat Your Neighbor Fertilizer. Today I want to talk a little bit about houseplants. Two of my favorite houseplants are the Sansevieria and the ZZ plant, which have similar care. You see them a lot in interior designs such as hospitals, malls, different magazines that you see. The reason you see them in those places is because of the care of them. They're super easy plants to care for. Both very similar, and that's why we're going to talk about both of them today. They like to be dry, and that's one of the big things that are their benefits. They can go 1 month of water, water once a month, and they're good to go. Also, their light conditions. If you have them in a darker area, such as this is a plant from my own house, it's up on a balcony that has very little light that gets actually to the plant. They can take bright light to almost dark. What does that mean? Because you hear so many different terms of whether you water, whether it's wet or whether it's dry or whether it's bright light or whether it's darker. But what does that really mean? The darker light, should it be in a closet? No, they need some light. It can't be complete darkness. Should they be directly in the sun? No, they shouldn't. Bright light means diffused light. By a window, but push back just a little bit, or maybe there's a curtain. The direct sun will actually burn the Sansevieria, which you don't want that either. So somewhere in between there. If they're in a darker area, they're not going to grow as fast as they would in the brighter area, but they're still going to do very well. In the brighter area, they might grow a little bit faster. They're still slow growing plants, but they'll grow a little bit faster, and they'll probably have a little bit more of the variation in the colors. Down here I have, these are bird nest Sansevierias, and they're going to not grow, they'll grow a little bit taller, but they'll go more wide. So in the terms of bright light, you can go anywhere in between. As far as watering, we talk about moist soil, we talk about drier soil. These need to be dry. You need to water them once a month and let them be. Just let them be. Think of a cactus. The cactus has that a special soil that's very dry. It has a lot of aeration in there so that it dries down. The same thing with the Sansevieria and the ZZ plant. They need to be drier. If you're transplanting them, the Sansevieria has more of a root system, where the ZZ plant has more of a bulb system underneath. And you're going to do half cactus mix and half potting soil. You don't use straight potting soil because most people, again, overwater, and that will cause that bulb or that root system to rot down. So when you're repotting any of these, that's what you're going to want to use. Don't repot until that pot is almost deformed or even cracked. They like to be tighter bound. If they're not tighter bound and you say, oh, I got this beautiful starter plant, it has to go into a bigger pot. Well, if you do that, you're going to sit like this for quite some time, because it's going to take a long time for that to fill out before it starts shooting new buds, and that's going to be all stuff working under the soil. So what I like to do is, if you get a pot and you want it in a bigger container, or you want to put it in a basket, take that grower's pot and just drop it right in. Cover it with a little bit of moss, and nobody will know that it's still sitting in a grower's pot. You can see this plant here, we put into a nice white ceramic, and then it's still in the grower's pot. I just put some of that moss down with it. So water once a month, let it dry completely down. They are air purifiers, which are wonderful, so they're great to have in the house. You just need to relax a little bit and enjoy your plant. The bamboo, and we talk about different soils, we talk about watering. The bamboo, which is down in front here, that's beautifully braided, actually has no soil whatsoever. It's in pebbles, and those pebbles, you just fill it up with water and you let it sit, and the roots do that. It's just an amazing plant. But you can see you need to be careful when repotting or buying a plant. what does that plant care for? What does it need? Some plants require a lot of water. Other plants, like the Sansevieria and the ZZ plant, they require very little, almost like a cactus. The cactuses, as everybody knows, they're meant for the desert, so dry. They get a little bit of rain and then they dry down. Also, when you're looking at plants, and people buy them for all different reasons. They want them to decorate the house. They want them to make somebody feel better. They come in and they say, oh, this person, I want to give them something that lasts, that they can take care of. And the person that gets it, some of them are happy and some are like, oh my gosh, I kill everything. Please don't give me a plant. They're not hard once you learn. But what you need to know is, if you buy it in a grower's pot, again, we talked about just dropping them right into the pot. If you buy them in a basket, take a look. Is it in the grower's pot? What does it need? If it's in a ceramic, what does it need? If you buy them and they're in this paper or that foil that you see, take that foil off. If you don't, it retains so much moisture at the bottom that it tends to lead to more problems. And you say, well, why do they even sell them like that if we're supposed to take it off right away? It's a cheaper version. Somebody coming in doesn't want to give you a pot like this. They want it to be decorated a little bit, but maybe they don't want to spend quite as much money as having it put into a basket or a container that may or may not fit in with your decor. So they're just trying to be nice, and it's just a less expensive way of doing that. When fertilizing, across the board with our Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer, indoor houseplants, we recommend that you only use it once a month. If you use it more, you may potentially burn out your plants. You don't want to do that. If you use a weaker solution of it, that's not bad. You can do that. At least you'll know for sure you won't burn out your plants. We do recommend just the once a month application. The application is this small little scoop, 1 scoop of it in a gallon of water, and you would water your plants like you normally would. Everybody says, well, how much do I water them? Give them a nice drink, and then know from there, do I need to wait the Sansevieria a month before I rewater it, or do I water it again in a week? And again, that's going to be knowing your plants. But the Beat Your Neighbor will help push out new buds, or not new buds on the Sansevieria, but new stems coming up. It'll help that root system, and it will give it the nutrients that it needs. So check us out at beatyourneighbor.com. We do have promotions occasionally, so please add yourself to the newsletter so that you're in with those promotions. And you can order 24 hours a day. You can order online, and we ship out normally within a 24-hour period. Thanks. Have a great day.